to meet John Sharp in his natural environment. Have you got any thoughts?
How did he become so great? What's the secret?
Michael, have you got any hopes, expectations, questions?
No, I know it's just next to where my old dole office used to be. So, you know.
Look, there's camera people.
This will be edited, will it?
Yeah. We're doing a Louis Theroux.
Oh yeah, Louis Theroux, obviously about the Jimmy Savile, yeah.
Why on the wall documentary?
Where are we going?
Yeah, go to the bathroom.
We're going to the bathroom.
Oh, cool, John.
And we've got the Queen Mother up there.
Oh yes.
God save the Queen. God save the Queen.
Where did you get these clogs then?
Charity shop.
Is there a story attached to
Well,
it?
no, it just means that I'm temporary, so go in both directions. These are the, I've got them for £3. So he's an adventurer and he's a reverend.
Okay.
And that's my umbrella and that's my hat.
Hey, Craig, where'd you get that?
Fucking amazing. It was in some cheap sort of jumble sale in Spitalfields.
Great.
Down 3-bedroom, Collier. That's a family clock. Oh, and that's me up there. When I went to France. Has that been going well? Is that paid or unpaid? I've only got so many. I've only got so many chairs.
Yeah, paid. Pays quite well.
That's
sometimes.
my rocking chair.
This one?
A couple £100 from your fucking habitat. It's just a hassle trying to keep this tidy. It's all the fucking dust that comes in all the time.
Everyone's standing around in a sort of Edwardian living room sort of fashion.
Look at these bathroom.
Yeah, that's
Is it?
this is it.
How's your paperwork going?
Well, behind, but not too bad. Great, somewhere.
Are you still at Pear Shaped every week?
Yeah.
Like the other gigs?
Yeah, I'm doing this shitty one in Kensington. This I got from Michael Landy, and he was you know that throwaway exhibition where they were chucking all their stuff away? So he was just about to chuck it, so I paid him £40 for it. And that I paid 50 for.
That's not.
On Brick Lane.
That is nice.
And that's my mate Graham's.
Yeah?
Same one as that one.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like that one.
But the bastard, he had them flat, so he's got the hair fucking flat.
Yeah.
So, and they were just faceless. So he redid them in '93 for me.
Oh, right.
He was a psychiatric nurse I trained with. That I paid £300 for, but people don't.
This one here?
Yeah, no, that one. That one's a mental health patient.
Really?
That one I paid £60 for, and he's a mental health patient.
Yeah.
and he got a 2-2 at Liverpool thing. That's timeless.
Which one did you both be in the panel for?
That one. I was probably well. I sort of like it actually.
Yeah, no, if you like it, well, for me,
But
yeah, I would.
and that's I forget. That's really cool. But I managed to break that in half. That I got from Spain.
What is it?
It's just papier-mâché sort of thing. And then I got from charity shops, and then I got from Film Road charity shop.
Well, if that doesn't work,
And that's teak, as it happens. From Burma.
Were you in Burma?
No, got it from charity shop.
and a very good way actually of
That's what I mean, like the puppet. Is
Yeah,
that?
yeah, right.
Is that? Oh, what's that to do with? Is that
I just got it from, I got it, it's German.
yeah.
What are you doing? Thanks as well.
He's just being a bit mad.
So this is your washing line, John.
These are my shirts.
It's quite slippery out here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So is this whole area yours?
Yeah, it is.
So you can sort of come out here like it's your garden?
Yeah, well, sort of. But I've got yeah, we have problems with. I've got problems. There was problems with structural problems.
Yeah. But nice and
Because if
summer.
you've got plants all up here, it could be a white oasis.
Well, it could, but I mean, it's too much hassle. I'm not
Yeah.
even
You got
half the
plants
time.
in your bedroom though.
Yeah.
haven't you?
Yeah. There were some blue tits, but they fucked off.
I like the view. It's a great view over there.
This would be a death trap if the rain was there. Because you'd so many times
Yeah,
you'd
that,
slip.
I put my carpet on. If you stand over here,
Oh, I can't, I'm afraid of close.
look, if you stand over here, you can see my fucking carpet that I put to fucking dry. And it fell over.
Oh,
and
right,
I-
then your
I-
carpet.
Yeah, fuck it. From the thing that climbing up. And this is the estate that fucking they had fucking riot police about 6 months ago. They had 20. They had there because they were throwing eggs at the. They were throwing eggs at the police car, and so they had riot police. So you're going to put this on a. You're going to put this up on your site.
Well, no, well, I'm going to collect footage and then it will form a film, but it all needs to be edited down.
I see in your toilet, you've got one cactus sort of dangerously close to the toilet.
Yeah. Well, it's more that it's a matter of trying to get enough light for the cactus.
Right.
So.
Some sort of light, the sun shines out your arse cheek.
No, it's just a matter of getting enough light so the cactus doesn't go wonky. So. Are you a technician then, Mike?
No, I've worked in TV post-production for about 10 years.
So Bill drinking his cup of tea. Tea is very good these days.
That's not tea, is it?
It's herbal tea. That's why it looks very rare.
You're starting this, and I've rented out sort of
12% herbal
Tea,
tea.
I used to do the
Herbal tea is a lot stronger these days than in the old days.
Have I got news for you? So
I
it's
like the modern herbal tea.
Transmission from out of my
Where was that?
studio
Right.
in Charlotte Street,
Oh.
just up from the Fitzroy. So obviously plenty of room for fuck ups. So yes, I did quite a lot of fiddling about sort of wires and things before, but it looks quite straightforward in the booklet. I think it's a question of whether you tell you about it, because the screen looks a bit funny. This is what we want, you see. This is your, that's the digibox, like sparking up screen. So I think if you just leave that for a bit, see if it, because this to me looks like screen problems
Yeah, it is.
rather than like some
You should take a picture of Mike watching looking at the
So hang on, no, it's going down. It's going down quite a lot.
Oh, it's moving.
Yeah,
It's moving, it's
Yeah, I
moving,
think
yeah.
if we just let it,
Wow.
let it
Yeah.
I mean that phosphorus is probably really old now, so if we burn to that a bit, it'll
Oh,
get
that's what
going.
it is.
And then
yeah,
there's
it's going.
Yeah.
Yay!
Oh, wow.
This is fucking typical. This is. Oh, brilliant. I've been fucking 3 months without a TV.
You got some stand-up.
Right,
I'll try
okay.
out.
Shall I turn the TV off? Or?
Let me get out of this thing.
Oh, brilliant. It's completely
You've got
gone now.
full screen. Excellent.
Yeah, and Tetris.
And
other
Tetris,
things.
I mean, you know, you live in the dream, mate.
Right, genius. So all I do is I just do...
Just to give it a 1, 2 now.
Right.
Turn that on.
Turn
Turn
that
that
on.
on with the red button. Down there.
Is that right?
Wait a sec. There it is.
Right.
Give it a second. Now you're there.
Oh,
and you can
brilliant.
just choose your channels.
Oh, you got full screen.
Oh, brilliant.
Fantastic.
It's all back.
Fucking brilliant. Yes! I am a human being, I do exist. You know. Am I close enough? You heard the one about the empty bucket, went down well.
Shiraz is nice, actually.
He's in the middle of a set.
Chicken in a basket. That's chicken, completely covered in breadcrumbs, so you can't see how manky the chicken is. Then fried until crispy and golden, and then served in a basket. What do you call a pig with a skin condition? Pork scratching, chicken in a basket. That's yeah.
I'm sorry, I love the pork scratching one.
My sister's got a Spanish boyfriend. It was love at first sight. She took one look at him, chicken in a basket. Fuck. Sandcastles, don't knock 'em. Cumberland sausage. For those of you who are sick of me saying chicken in a basket, that's Cumberland sausage that's come all the way from Cumberland in a lorry. And then I sort of sip on water with a straw, and then I go, I'm not a boat. I'm not in any way a boat. I should have been headlining a Hammersmith Apollo 6 months ago. Yeah, according to my 5-year business plan, I should have been headlining a Hammersmith Apollo. I need a straw.
Do you have one in your pocket? I saw one earlier.
No, right, thank you very much. According to my 5-year, thank you for that, by the way. That's really great. I can feel human again. According to my 5-year business plan. No, I need the glass. What I've done here is I've swallowed half a cup of water. If I was a boat, and I'm not a boat, like I've already told you, but if I was a boat, I would have sunk to the bottom of the sea by now. But like I said, I'm in no way a boat. I've never spent the entirety of my life with my bottom encrusted in barnacles and completely submerged in water. What do you think of that?
I think the sucking sound really
Yeah.
adds to the whole sort of tumbleweed effect.
Okay, now. Right, there's a choice of two. Tonight I'll be doing the extended set.
I get it.
What about, this is one word joke, partition, splits a room. In order to enhance tonight's performance, I went to the toilet, locked the door, and no, I didn't do a gram of Charlie up off the toilet seat. I took a held chili and stuck it up my bottom. And now, I'm on fire.
You see, I do like the bit that I didn't do a gram of Charlie. Is this not bad?
Oh yeah. Zzz, zzz, zzz. And then I tell a few more jokes and they go zzz, if I can remember them. Zzz, 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 zzz. It's not funny, but I get a buzz out of it. Yeah. Oh yeah, I get very anxious. The person I get very anxious. Too tense. Trying out some observational comedy. He's yawning. He's got his hands in his pockets. I can do the observational bit. It's the comedy I struggle with. Yeah. What about, I shall never forget the first time I ever masturbated. I had no idea what had come over me. Tacky, but in amongst a certain... oh yeah, the other one is, tell you a bit about myself. You need a stage. Tell you a bit about myself. I was a small child, and then I grew up. What happened here now is there's a lull. Definite lull. When that happens, I ask myself, what would a good comedian do in a situation like this? My answer is, fucked if I know. I mean, the problem is, it doesn't flow. What I have is a lot of stop-starts. My problem, as I see it, is that it's all my set is stop-starting. In the words of John Cage, the avant-garde musician John Cage, I have nothing to say and I'm saying it. How much time have I got left?
Oh, I think about 5 minutes, mate.
No. So say about. Oh, I think you're done.
I think you're done, mate.
I've just got time. Just got time.
I don't think you've got any time to.
I've just got time.
No.
Fuck off. I've just got time to do my pendulum. Yeah. Just got time to do my pendulum. Yes. There's always time. No, there will be laughter. Give me a laugh, sir. Give me a laugh, sir.
Ha ha.
Laugh again, sir.
Ha ha.
Give me a laugh, madam.
Sorry, dude.
What is it? Bit more audience participation. Hello, sir. Can I ask your name? Nabil. Hello, sir. Can I ask your name?
Mike.
Hello, madam. Can I ask your name?
John.
Joan. Yes.
John.
Joan. Hello, sir. Can I ask your name? Hello, sir. Can I ask your name?
Mike.
Mike. Hello, madam. Can I ask your name?
Sadie.
Sadie. Yeah. Never forget a face. It's the names I have problems with. There will be a survey. Can I ask you, sir, what do you think of the performance so far?
Fantastic.
If you were rating this out of 5, sir, what would you?
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. You don't have to give it a 5 out of 5. You can give it. You can say it's too early to make your mind up. If you. Hello, sir. Can I ask you what do you think of the performance so far?
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah.
Can you give me a rating out of?
Oh, 4.
Could you say you don't make?
It's too early to make my mind up.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, can I ask you what day of the week it is?
Sunday.
Sunday. Well, you know that then. You can make. You're fairly sure of that. Then. You can't make your mind up, sir. You've sat here in front of a complete and utter genius, and you can't make. And can I ask what you're wearing, sir?
Jeans.
Jeans. Oh, you know that then. Yeah. You put them on this morning, did you, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, he put jeans on this morning, sir. He put jeans on. He knows that, and yet he can't make his mind up. He can't make it. Were you thinking this morning, sir, of maybe putting some shorts on?
No.
No, you weren't. So you were fairly certain, sir, fairly certain that you were going to wear jeans, were you, sir?
Yeah.
So you can make your mind up about that, but you can't make your mind up how bloody brilliant this performance is. Anything in that?
I like it. I personally like it.
Highly stressful for the audience.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's good. I just think
That's
maybe
good.
it's slightly shorter.
When you do so you decided to wear jeans this morning,
Right.
but so you're sure about that, but you're not sure whether this act is good or shit. Another sort of thread you could have, maybe like a backup thread or something the next thing to do with it, would be to say say if you say something like, so Hitler, good or bad? And they might go, well, bad, and then you say, but you see, you've decided that Hitler's bad, but you're not able to decide whether my act is good or shit.
That's good.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then-
that's
I
good.
like that, yeah.
Then you can say, and then if they then say, okay, shit then you can say, right, so what do you think about, and ask them something that they're very unlikely to know the answer about.
Yeah.
So they could at any point go, well, yeah, now you put it this way, yeah, the act is quite bad, or the act is quite good. Because what you're doing is you're forcing them to make up their mind, but they're
Okay.
saying, I can't make up my mind, and you're saying, okay, and you're carrying on the joke. But at some point, someone might turn and say, yes, I've made up my mind.
Okay.
And then what you can have as a backup is then say, oh, so you've made up your mind, have you, this act is shit? And you say, well, yeah. And you go, okay, what do you think about Fermat's last theorem, this long equation?
Yeah.
Is that solved now to your satisfaction, or do you not? What do you think? And they will quite possibly, this is one avenue, say, well, I don't know. And you go, oh, right. So you've no idea about Fermat's last theorem, but you're perfectly happy to say my act is shit.
That's good. I like that. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Okay.
It's abstract, but it's good. No, I like it because it is.
So what do you think about Fermat's last theorem? You think it's resolved now? You
Yeah.
think it's solved.
Just maybe say this long equation,
Yeah.
so everyone kind of gets a reference.
Long mathematical equation. You think it's solved, or it has been solved? So would you say that?
Do you think it's solved? Have we found the answers yet? Maybe have we found the answers? Because that's quite a difficult one to say yes. Because then if they do, you say, well, what answers? And they'll say, I don't know. And then you're on top again. Because then you can say, oh, so you don't know, but you do know enough to decide that Mac is shit.
No, Chicken in the Basket's great. I'm going to talk to Brian about it. He likes that.
Yeah.
But it kind of ups the tempo. The difficulty I have is my tempo stays the same. And but also people don't quite buy into who I am and what I'm about.
Then maybe I think Chicken in the Basket is quite a good one to have as a sort of like tell a few jokes or whenever there's a gap. Chicken in the Basket, because it's just so sort of.
Well, it's a linking mechanism,
Yeah.
isn't it? Because it links things that are unrelated, so it seems like you're on the same thing throughout.
Intermission. John Sharp will now answer questions submitted by his Facebook fans. Is it true that you use llama poo as a face pack?
How I personally use moisturiser in the morning. If I'm, I am totally for animal testing. If I happen to use a llama, and I have used a llama on occasions, and we have had a private transaction, it's a private matter between me and the llama.
Are you made from reclaimed chicken meat? And if so, are you halal, kosher, or Gentile?
Well, obviously, I live in I live in Whitechapel, and it's a mainly Muslim area, so of course, I would be halal. Yes, I would be halal. And how the hell are you? Yes.
I think that accusation in itself is completely hilarious.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you, sir. This is my sidekick. My sidekick is drinking a Shiraz wine.
Who is kicking his side.
What vintage is that, sir?
I think this is about 145.
1445, yeah, that was good year. 1445, yes.
Are you a Murray Mint or a Werther's type?
Personally, I prefer pulpers. No, I prefer pale mint. Sorry, madam, I do prefer. I like a mint with a hell. Yes.
Are you a scrag end or a top prime cut of meat?
Oh, definitely a scrag end. I don't know about you, sir, but you can get a lot of flavour out of out of a scragging. It just depends on how long you cook it for. Yeah. Are you a cook yourself, sir?
Cook occasionally. Yeah, always try and buy the cheap meat.
Cheap meat, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, as I've said myself, can I just tell you at this moment in time that my company isn't going too well because of the recession? It's been just awful. Yes.
Is your face circumcised?
Well, I was, but unfortunately the person that was doing the circumcision was a little unsteady with the knife. It was our local butcher, and he was halfway through beheading a chicken, and he stopped for his tea break, and in between his tea break, he decided to in a roundabout way, he decided to circumcise my head. Was that the best you made? Fuck me, this is like drinking fucking camel's piss or something. Fuck me. Oh, fuck. It's the aftertaste. The aftertaste is like of fucking burnt car or something. Stuff like him to
Burnt car. Exotic burnt car from the East End
car, yeah.
of London.
Petrol fumes. Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Do you prefer clover, flora, or olive oil when you need sexual lubrication?
I prefer a donkey, yes.
Have your balls descended?
As we speak, they are swinging, yes. So we'll take that as a yes, sir. Yeah.
Do you have balls? Or do you have Brussels sprouts?
Well, I did have Brussels sprouts, but unfortunately we used them all up at Christmas.
Do you eat tinned or frozen food?
I eat frozen polar bear, especially exported from the Antarctic.
That's interesting. Where do you get that from?
From the Antarctic. If you were listening to the original answer.
Do you travel to the Antarctic to buy it, or is it
No,
imported?
Eskimos bring it over. I hire Eskimos, and they bring it over with a trail of husky dogs.
And where do you go to collect it?
Lapland.
So you travel to Lapland?
I travel to Lapland in a bus.
Burial or cremation?
Self-immolation.
Do you prefer it up the ear hole, gob hole, or bum hole? Or is it a combination of all three?
No, I prefer it up the ear hole because you can hear what you're thinking.
Do you prefer fish in breadcrumb or batter?
I prefer them in the sea myself.
Have you ever been to prison?
I have, yes. But only visiting Pentonville, yes.
Who are you visiting?
Clients.
Do you like to elaborate?
No.
What sex are you?
I'm a giraffe.
Are you well hung?
Only from a meat hook.
Why do you go cottaging? Neanderthal or Cro-Magnon?
What's the difference?
And now, back to our main feature.
Because if it's been causing me ventilation problems, I probably need it out.
How does it cause you ventilation?
Because it should come out further, that window. That's the only ventilation I have in the kitchen. It might have caused the actual damp in the corner.
Well, maybe the clip's on the front. And if you get one off, then the other can kind of just shimmy out like that.
Oh, okay.
We can have a look at it now.
Oh, don't worry.
Really? Because once you suggest something, I think, well,
No,
I'm going to find
don't
out.
worry, no. Because I'll just keep it as it is and I'll ask them. Don't worry. Because I don't want the whole thing coming down, the roof coming down with it.
Right.
Yeah. Don't worry. Thanks. Ask. You are watching probably the world's greatest ever comedian. I know. It's a sweeping statement. This is my first impression of the evening. Don't judge me. It's only a first impression of a car engine. Broom, broom.
No, I know that.
Yeah, right. And then, what was it? The other one. Yeah.
Broom.
It's not easy doing broom-related jokes, but I think I've got a handle on it. Yeah. What was it? Did you know that if you look into a mirror, your face appears? And then, I was raised by dentists. Never knew my real parents. Wider still.
Oh my That's a good one.
Yeah, I know. A big welcome to the Folded Arms Society. They come to all my gigs. Never laugh. Yet they return in increasing numbers. Yeah, and when I was doing a gig on the moon, I was doing a gig on the moon to Martians. Yeah. Got heckled by a Martian. In English, yeah. Universal language. Told me to fuck off. Yeah. Quick as a flash. I replied, no, UFO.
I love that. It's good. I like that. Keep that one. That's brilliant.
Yeah, right. The other ones.
Oh, you got them written on your hand?
Yeah, no longer.
I've always thought that was a sort of like joke thing.
No.
It's actually genuine. I honestly thought you'd written around for a
genuinely.
laugh. It was just I'm not a great comedian, so I've got
the hand.
Oh, no.
This is bizarre.
That was a double bluff then.
Yeah.
Weird.
No. Yeah, no, thanks for fixing that. So you used to be in like TV production?
Post-production, yeah. So scheduling the editors and the effects and the equipment.
That's brilliant.
But the industry changed, and so over the course of about 4 years, my department closed down, sort of sent down to another company down the road, where they were kind of joining departments, which meant that my job was not quite as good as the job I'd had before. Then that department got closed down and sent back up to Charlotte Street, which then I ended up with a job that, just because I've managed to work my way up again, and then down again because of this 2 companies closing and turning into one. All part of the transformation from videotape to storing all the video on servers and stuff, So as the technology was changing, the industry was being restructured as well. So there were quite a lot of job losses and things like that, and sort of changes. And then eventually I had to re-interview for my job because our company in Golden Square, the lease ran out, and so they decided not to renew it because the industry was getting squeezed, and they closed the department in Wardour Street and moved both departments to Charlotte Street. So it was me and another guy doing my job. So we both interviewed for our job, competing against one another. Yeah, so sitting in reception next to Dan on the sofa, both of us waiting for the job interview to do my job. I know. So they gave me like a few £1,000 because I'd worked with them for some years. I thought, oh brilliant, I'll take that then, because I was getting sick of this. Obviously after a bit, the money's gone, that was a long time ago. So I used to work in there, and then I did a bit of...
Now you've got TEFL.
Yeah, and so I do teaching.
So the other thing is, in tonight's performance, there will be a bit of this, followed by a bit of that, and then a bit more of this. Sadly, I don't do shadow puppetry.
Is that a picture of Armando Iannucci you've got inside your boiler cupboard?
Why the picture of Bob Crow? I'm just curious.
Because it's a good picture.
Oh, right.
Oh, that's who it is, yeah.
I just really like it. like portraits. I just think it's a brilliant picture.
No, I think it's
And just like the shape of his face, and it's just a brilliant picture.
no, it is interesting. Yeah, you know.
Who's the one right at the top?
Saul Bellow.
Oh.
Who's that?
Eric Sykes.
Oh, no, right at the bottom there.
Armando
Armando
Iannucci.
Iannucci.
Oh. And Patti Smith, she's folk music, isn't she, or country?
No, she's punk. And that's Zoe Heller. And that's Angela Charter. I like portraits. I can't, I can draw a bit.
So the Danny DeVito, is that for the portrait or because you like him?
Yeah, no, it's both. I like the portrait.
You like Guinness?
Is that Danny DeVito there?
I just bought that in case Nabil wanted some.
If I visited you again, what should I bring? Should I bring Guinness or beer?
No.
What do you
drink
drink?
that much. Basically, I don't drink. I don't know whether this fits in my set. I was in Whitechapel the other day and I saw a man sitting under a poster. A man begging, sitting under a poster, saying make poverty history. I gave the man a tenner. Came back a week later, he was still there. Is that funny? The thing I didn't realise, Mike, is it's really difficult when you've got a small space. You tend to cram everything into the small space and then you realise that you've got to take things out because you just haven't got enough space and it looks wrong.
Well, I was thinking when you said that, the day you did that set and the microphone wasn't working properly and you started complaining about that worked really well even though you were just complaining. What I mean is, because it was like, oh, this, and just for some reason that worked really well, even though you weren't trying to be funny.
No, I was, to a degree.
Oh, you were? That's good. Yeah. But I mean, that was really funny. Oh, yes. But I mean, you can do things like that. You can go on and just start complaining about things. I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't. And a comedian go, well, yeah, microphone, what year did they buy this? Or something like that, I don't know. But
yeah, it's sort of been done before, but I mean, I suppose I'm someone that complains quite naturally.
Yeah.
And moans quite naturally, so.
You could complain about the lighting, or just, it wouldn't have to be for a long period of time. You could just say, yeah, be nice they got your new light bulbs, or
yeah.
or
see, it works in some places, but if you get in like places with semi-pros, you can't do that. Doesn't, they
well, I don't really see you pear-shaped in that place when you intend.
Well, even pear-shaped, right? I mean, pear-shaped is still a fiver to come in, so you still get, like Brian's a pro, Anthony's sort of semi-pro, and so they can get iffy about what stuff you put on. Funnily enough, they can get quite shirty.
Really?
Oh God, yeah.
Anthony?
God, yeah, Anthony gets very shirty.
It's funny, a lot of his set is, I mean, I've heard it, I mean, it hasn't changed that much.
It hasn't changed at all, has it?
I mean, he's got one or two new jokes, but not being funny. His set is pretty much, it was hilarious the first time, second, third, but I mean, a lot of it hasn't changed at all.
I don't know, it doesn't need to. If the jokes are good enough, you don't need to change it.
Oh, I don't know, I mean, it does get a bit sort of like, I mean, no, I just think his set, as a set goes, it's not bad, but after hearing the same jokes I mean, if it's the first time down
You
there.
want to see me foot tidy, so let's show me your wonky toe,
Alright.
if you want some excitement.
Is this if you injured your
No, it's just, it does that. So,
Does what?
so that does that for some reason.
Oh, it's really bent.
Oh,
So if you press there, it goes up. So and do that, and do that.
It's like a light switch.
Yeah. I don't know whether my stuff is should be more surreal or not, or just kind of. It's very difficult to know how to sell your
your stuff.
because it's quite odd. And some people don't. I do the more traditional places and they don't buy it very well.
Do you know, someone sees your act and you think, either this man's banged his head on the way here,
Right.
or there's some kind of intelligence behind this and there's some funny kind of satire going on, you know.
I've got this joke about a horse, and I was thinking of saying I'm dedicating this set. It's not funny to Emily Davidson, the suffragette who threw herself in front of the King's horse. It's not funny. I mean, it's just, but like, I genuinely like Emily Davidson. I've travelled all over the world, making people laugh. Sadly, none of them here tonight.
That, Keepy, that's good. Yeah,
That doesn't always get a laugh. Salt, mustard, vinegar, pepper. I'm a seasoned comedian. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's my week joke. Cheese and onion. Salt and cheese and onion. Smoky bacon, prawn cocktail. That's my crisp one-liners. You're probably thinking this is a bit like anal sex. Not much of an evening. Tell you a bit about myself. We've got one here and one there. Moving on. To the difficult second joke. That was it. The difficulty I have, Tanya, is that I've taken out all my cynical stuff. Right?
Do you know what your cynical stuff was?
My cynical stuff was, these are a few slogans to raise political awareness. HIV, be positive. Domestic violence, don't be beaten. Abortion, life goes on.
I liked all that, but to be honest with you, I think a lot of people wouldn't. I thought it was hilarious. It worked for me.
Well, it worked in a bigger, I can still do it in a bigger gig. Rape, just say no. Prostitution. Is it worth it? I've been fucking amazing. You've been very quiet. Let's be finished.
What about the one I really always like and always laugh at is, my girlfriend left me.
Oh,
she
right.
could have knocked me over with a feather.
Yeah.
She chose a car.
My girlfriend's dumped me. I'm still hurting. Here, 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 and there. I've written a poem for her. Would you like to hear it? No choice. You could have knocked me down with a feather, but chose the car.
I love that one. I think it's great. Even though you said it.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that one. I just think it's just.
What about going out with a lump of curl? It's all good, it's all good. And going out with a lump of curl. Carbon dating. What I'm trying to project is a failure. If you actually look at the jokes, none of them actually work. So they're always, the whole thing about the performance is it's sort of going somewhere and getting nowhere. So it's all about someone that thinks it's going to go somewhere and is full of expectation to make this thing, and everything is against it. That's the whole purpose of that. So what I'm doing is like I'm selling. It's like I'm a salesman selling a Rolls Royce with no engine. I mean, Tanya said about bringing more personal stuff into it, but it's kind of difficult. I mean, the musical stuff with the chicken in the basket, that's kind of, you know, someone that's never quite got there. And the boomerang stuff is, you know, like selling an obviously ropey act, really. And then the stuff with the broomstick is all to do with. So you tried to bring some more intellectual references into it.
I think so, yeah. Because I think what people are, I think the idea of what people are enjoying in the performance is like a knowingness, you know, knowing that you're doing like a failure sort of thing, you know, the bloke with no engine in Rolls Royce, you know. So in that sort of metaphor, you know, it'd be interesting if the bloke had some incredible knowledge about the hydraulics involved in a Rolls Royce, and he was like selling that to the customer, but had a complete blank about the engine. So you present this kind of schizophrenic, someone who's got all these clever references and makes Euripides jokes and things like that.
Well, I use that in my language. I use quite sort of what's the name? Language. The use of language.
Eloquent.
Eloquent use of language.
Well, you used to be a performance poet, didn't you?
Yeah. So I think that comes across in that. I've nothing to say, and I'm saying it.
So basically, that's like a philosophical ending.
Yeah. So it's to do with the fact that it's about the futility, as it were, of... Yeah, what I'm talking about is the futility, as it were, of my existence. I've got nothing to say, or I've got nowhere, or I haven't got where I wanted to get to, and I'm saying it. I'm sort of saying, well, okay, this isn't going anywhere, but is anything going anywhere? That kind of thing. And I did have a thing along the lines of, who are we? But it didn't fit in with the set, but it was along the lines of, tonight I'll be asking the philosophical questions of life. Who am I? Where am I? And why am I here? A question some of you may be asking as I speak. But you need a kind of arty type audience. If you've got your kind of 10 pints of lager and a packet of crisps, please, you're fucked. I mean, if I did make any references, it would be around abstract art, because I like abstract art. And that would be, I mean, that's the only stuff, I suppose, apart from mental health nursing. Well, I know a certain amount about philosophy, but I know a lot about politics, but it would be around abstract art, really. That's the only stuff that, I don't know many art quotes, but it would be around abstract art. Well, I'm a minimalist. I mean, I'm a minimalist. I like minimalism. That's my sort of philosophy about everything. You know, how small you can make something, or one colour, or abstract expressionism. That's what. And it's very. The trouble is, it's very difficult to actually include. You only probably. I mean, I really like the Andy Warhol quote, but and then I've got jokes. I've sort of got a lot of anti-comedy, people saying I'm an anti-comedian as opposed to a comedian.
What exactly is an anti-comedian?
I've got one which is, what is it? Who am I? This is guessing game. Am I a potato? But I can't be a potato because potato doesn't have eyes. So am I cauliflower? But I can't be a cauliflower because cauliflower doesn't have ears. So I must be a table. But I can't be a table because the table needs 4 legs to stand up. So I can only be a comedian because only a comedian does stand up.
I've seen,
And it's so hard coming up. I mean, the trouble is what people don't understand is that they come up with a line, right, and they say, oh, you should put that in your set. And as soon as you put one line in your set, it completely skews the rest of the set. So you've got to actually find the space to work that into your set. So that, like, if it's a clunky fit, you then got to spend 15-20 seconds justifying why that's in, and then allowing them to sort of manoeuvre their mind into what you're saying. See, I've got this line that I don't use, which is along the lines of the other acts will come on, tell jokes and get laughs. I don't do that. So, in a way, it's like unlocking a box. I suppose what I'm doing is I'm doing quite a lot of visual stuff, and I'm unlocking a box, and then I throw away the key. If that makes sense. And you're just looking into a box. But see, I've got this flying joke as well, you know, which is that joke's never taken off. But I suppose it's around the fact that my ambitions of maybe getting somewhere have never sort of been fulfilled. So it's all about an anti-climax. So you build up the expectations and you then sort of let the expectations down as it goes along. You've got the museum, that's the museum. There's the East London Mosque, that is.
Right, because just from just hearing that snippet of it, it sort of, to me, sounded like opera, because it's got sort of long notes. And I was thinking about how things, you know, when you like read about like an interview with someone in a magazine, and it would say, the comedian John Sharp was sitting on the floor with his back to the oven, explaining how his act is a story within a story, and it's about essentially trying to express the tragedy of a man's life never really reaching its expectation. I could hear the rain gently dappling against the damp balcony, and from the distance the sound of opera wafted through the half-open window. And then you paint this picture in your mind when you're reading this.
Would it waft, the sound of opera?
Well, I don't know. Well, the smell of curry wafted through the open window. But things never seem like that when you're experiencing them, do they? With this, you know, they're sitting on the floor, the sound wafting from the background and stuff.
I always thought, I thought smells waft, sound doesn't waft, is it? Sound.
What does it do?
Hang on, no, you can use the expression it wafts through the rafters.
Oh, can you?
It does tend to be smell though,
smell.
but I think you can, yeah.
Drifts. It might be drifts or.
Drifts or waft. I mean, I think
What
you can.
would you say?
I think you can use
I think you would use waft.
Would you?
Yeah.
Because by using waft, you're using the adjective to imply the way it's coming through.
Okay.
It wafts rather than sort of hits you or whatever. So you're using it as a sort of
Yeah.
the action of the music itself.
Okay.
But-
It would be something. It would be to do with vocal sound, reverberates or something. Or it wouldn't be reverberate, but it would be something. What about moaning? I mean, can you see the act moaning? Just moaning about, complaining about things. Do you think that would be a natural extension? Where would you make it go? Just moaning about.
Well, the act does moan a bit.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to say to watch your act. It's a bit. There is a sense of
Disillusionment.
disillusionment. Yeah.
It's very much the stock in trade of observation, isn't it? Saying, oh, my socks are all messed up, and don't you hate it when, and this sort of thing. Whereas your act is a bit more original because it's this sort of lost thing, you know.
Right. And does it come across as it's lost?
No, to me, it doesn't. Talking about it, it seems like this sort of fascinating, sort of intellectual lyrical experiment with loss and stuff, you know. But watching the act in the basement of the Fitzroy, it just seems more like sort of pirate jokes and broom handles.
Okay.
So the full sort of intellectualism and tragedy of it
Oh, okay.
it isn't really,
Yeah, right.
which is what I was saying, maybe pepper it up a little bit with some more sort of intellectual, you know, but kind of just signpost what it's about a bit more.
That's helpful. So intellectual, the intellectual underpinning of the act needs to
sort of flag it up a little bit more.
needs to the intellectual underpinning of the act needs to it's going to be assimilated more clearly within the context.
I think he said signposted.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, to be signposted within the act. Signposted at intervals within the act. Yeah.
So yeah, in
More
some
clearly,
sort of way,
more clearly, in a more coherent structure within the
something
within the
like that.
film.
Yeah, because what you're doing a sort of performance art piece
Right.
in a sort of basement comedy club for like 3.5 minutes or something. And so if you were doing it in a gallery, I think everyone would be going, oh, this is fascinating and tragic, that I can see exactly what he's done here, it's very, very clever. Whereas instead in the Fitzroy, people are like, oh, pirate jokes, and the rest of it goes over the head. But if you throw in some references to, you know, just darken it up a little bit maybe or something, you know, show a glimpse of the sort of the
What about
tragedy.
the Emily Davidson? Does that?
Maybe. So what's the joke that she?
There isn't a joke because she hid in a broom cupboard in the act in Parliament to avoid arrest. So I could tell you this broom. See, I like the way that in folk music they always dedicate the songs to something. And I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can relate her indirectly to the broom.
Yeah, well, she hid in a broom cupboard. But the other thing is that I've got a reference to a horse where I go neigh, neigh, and then that's a rocking horse. There will be a subtle
You
reference.
could say I thought I might dedicate this performance for Emily Davidson something a bit hoarse.
No, because it's a serious thing because she's one of my heroes. So I had some stuff around. They say, what is it? Success is an absolute and failure is relative. Because when you think about it, you either succeed or you don't. Whereas failure is relative.
Relative to where you are in life, this, that, the other.
Yeah. That was the only other intellectual. And there's another thing is, there's a Socrates quote from Socrates. There's two quotes. There's one which is the only thing I know is nothing. Which is nice, which I like. And the other one is, there's another famous Socrates quote about, and I do some time stuff as well, so I could maybe come up with some quotes about time, time wait for no man or something. And now a lot of the papers, they don't do the full size. It's like that. I really like that. I didn't think it made any sense. It's really weird that should work, but as a backdrop, that's quite a pictorial statement, I think. Because it's just, it's really strange. It's like something you would have in the Lebanon or something after someone's been shot.
Yeah.
You know what
It does
I mean?
look like that. Yeah, kind of like a slightly crap shop and some not particularly impressive sort of fitted windows.
And then when you actually think about it, you realise how fucking good a picture it is. And it shouldn't be, but it is. Yeah, take some biscuits.
Quite Moorish, these biscuits. Why I particularly love it is about just all the history. That everywhere you go, there's a plague pit or some dead thing, or this used to be the something or other. So I like that about it. Also, I like the fact that it's
It does work, your jacket.
really empty.
It's really. You had another one, didn't you? There's another one you've got. You haven't just worn that one.
That's
There's another-
nice. I really like that.
Yeah,
The colour, the black, the white,
Coat's
the
fucked.
crossing. No, it's not.
No, the pockets are fucked.
Oh,
So no, well, I lose money out of it. I,
no, I wouldn't wear it. I think maybe a wallet somewhere
Out
else.
this way, Mike.
No,